Oh, you just.
And I can't even understand it. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. I can't even comprehend it, but I know you see. Oh, this I know you see. Oh, I could walk where men may never tread, or plunge the depths where I could make my bed. But I never went hide and seek. You're so good at finding me, only lost in the mystery of the depth of your love for me. This knowledge is too wonderful for me, and I can't even understand it. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. Oh, and I can't even comprehend it, but I know you see. Oh, this I know you see.
Are any of your students are going to watch this, or are you going
and
to
we are
record
live
this?
now.
Yeah, live. Oh, something bad.
But what is your question?
I just asked, are we in the air, or are you going to record our conversation and show it later?
Yeah, this happens. YouTube does that automatically, and I don't do anything here. I don't record anything. It's just YouTube. All right.
Okay.
And we are live now. Nadia, welcome. It is so nice to have you here finally, after so many years. And we already have some people here watching. This conversation is gonna be all in English. And maybe some people here have some questions for you. Let me just check my WhatsApp here.
Hello, people from Brazil, English language learners. Very happy to be here with you. Ask me anything.
Yeah, we have oh, Rafael, you're back, man. I can hear myself a little bit there, but it's fine. Oh, someone said that he loves Russian food. I have no idea what that is. I mean, never tried Russian food.
Russian food is same as everywhere. Fried or boiled potato, fried or boiled meat, fish, that's it. And we have something which is a bit similar to Italian ravioli or dumplings, but we have a different recipe for it. I mean, the dough is the same and the filling is a little bit different. It's mostly meat, made with meat, but sometimes we can use mashed potato inside and some berries like cherries or something like that. And that's what people think of Russian food mostly. When they speak about Russian food, they think about this Russian ravioli or dumplings or pancakes with caviar.
Pancakes too.
Pancakes with red and black caviar. It's Russian, 100% Russian. And another very important Russian dish is, which most foreigners know of. It's a special kind of soup. It's cabbage soup and beetroot soup, which is, they know this word for the soup. It's called borscht. Borscht.
Borscht.
And beetroot, yeah, beetroot, cabbage, potato, boiled meat, some pieces of boiled meat, and sour cream. And it's famous. I mean, this soup is famous.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know.
What did that person mean when he or she said, I like Russian food? What kind of food did this person mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him. Angelo, what kind of food do you like that's Russian? Tell us. Anyway, let's wait here because there is a little bit of delay. And Nadia, first I'm gonna ask you here how you learned English, and how people learn English there in Russia. Do you learn English? Is it possible to learn English there in schools? And I don't know. You are in the capital now.
100 kilometers to the southwest from capital. Very pretty. 1 hour drive from Moscow.
Okay. So how do people learn English there, and then how did you learn English?
It's obligatory to learn English at state schools, and we began learning English when I was a kid, a schoolgirl. We began learning English at the age of 11 or 12, but now they start earlier, like at 7 or 6. And
Wow.
they proceed with learning English till they are 17, 18. Can you imagine? Like
Wow.
10 years.
So you go to public schools and you learn English there, just like that?
Yeah, state school.
And you really learn to talk, because we have English here, and the problem that we have here is people don't learn English at public schools. You know, we study English, but it's more grammar based. You know, it's pretty much only grammar. You don't learn how to talk.
But the question is, why can't people talk in Brazil? Brazilian school children can't talk because they don't want to, they don't feel like, or they are not taught how to speak. They mostly
No, we are not. No, we are not. We are not taught.
We are. We use, since the years when the perestroika began, probably Brazilian people heard about perestroika, this revolution, the last revolution. There were too many revolutions in Russia, unfortunately, and one can't get used to them, to this permanently changing situation in the country, but that's okay. So then, speaking about perestroika, they started, as usual, new leaders, they change. They start with reforms, with changing, and they started with changing the educational system in Russia, and particularly in the field of learning foreign languages and English. And they introduced new reforms, and that reforms were stop teaching grammar, start teaching communication, real life communication.
Wow.
That's why Russian students, they are exposed to speaking English, and they are taught to spoken English. But the question is, whether do they feel like studying spoken English?
Nice.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
You know, so if I, for example, if I went to Russia now, and then I don't know, I'm as a tourist, and then I wanted to talk to someone there in the streets, you know, streets of Russia, it wouldn't be hard to find someone who speaks English.
In most big cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Ekaterinburg, and other big cities where millions of people live, it won't be a problem, or it will be a minor problem, because most of them are able to respond. But there are very many funny videos on YouTube where foreigners speak to Russian people on Red Square. And you know that Red Square is the center of capital of Russia, and it attracts lots of tourists from all over Russia, and from villages, distant provinces, and they cannot speak English. And they made, I mean, Russian people made lots of funny videos about Russians who stay like shocked. Sorry, what? What are you asking me? So mostly the citizens of capitals and big cities, they will respond. But if they are Russian tourists from distant regions of Russia, probably they won't respond in English.
I understand. That's interesting. And you know, I had a student here, and that's something I didn't know about Russia. You guys have a lot of Brazilians there who go to, I think it's Petersburg to study medicine.
Oh.
There's a university there. I think it is there. Okay, I'm not sure about the city now, but lots of Brazilians go there to study medicine. Did you know that?
I didn't know about Brazilians studying medicine because I know a lot about Chinese students, African students studying nuclear energy, mathematics,
Wow.
these things.
Wow.
And medicine. There are some foreign students studying medicine in. There are sort of like 3 or 4 famous medical universities here in Russia, and one of them is not far from Moscow. There are 3 medical universities in Moscow, and there is one in the province, and you can assume that it's easier to enter that provincial university, medical university, and there are foreign students too. So maybe it's cheaper maybe to study medicine in Russia in some of these medical universities in Russia than to study medicine in Oxford, Cambridge, in America. Yeah, that's why.
No doubt, no doubt. And it is as good as I don't know, these other universities, right? I think so. I think so. And do you have like foreigners there teaching English? Like you have like British teachers or maybe even Americans?
Yeah, lots of them, especially in Moscow. There are like maybe 5 or 10 American and British English language schools which came to the country at the beginning of Perestroika, and they have been in the market for about 20-25 years. And there are thousands of foreigners in big cities teaching English.
Oh, nice, nice.
But not in my city. I am only 100 kilometers from Moscow, and there are no foreigners teaching English, native speakers to us. I have to plow the internet in search of native speakers because I have to develop my speaking skills, communication skills, and constantly upgrade my English language skills. Otherwise, I will die as a teacher.
Oh, yeah. No, yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. And you go to some in a specific place online to practice your English?
It was a good opportunity for me to meet with you on WizIQ or platform.
Oh, so that's where we met. I was trying to remember, and I was like, somebody asked me, so where'd you meet her? And I was like, I can't remember. Maybe that's why I can't remember, because it's been a while. So WizIQ. So my God, that's wow.
10 years, maybe.
Maybe,
Like
yes. 10
we
years.
had lots of free classes with native speakers there. And now that testing period, when they were introducing this platforms ended, and another platform was EduFire. As that testing period ended, finished, and they started making money and charging people using that platforms. So I try to find some language exchange sites where people just chat freely and agree later when they make sure that the person is normal. Agree later to meet on Skype, on WhatsApp or other messengers.
There are some apps. There are some apps that you can use. You know, I don't know which ones yet, but
I use Hello Talk.
Oh yes, I think I have a student who used that too.
Hi Native.
Hi Native.
And there are some video chats. I don't like video chats. I prefer to start communicating just with sending messages to find out more about a person, how common our interests are, because there are so many crazy people on the internet, you know.
You say. I know, of course I do. But you teach English there in your city, right?
Yeah.
Nice, but you teach like online, like me here, or you go to a specific school, or maybe you teach at a public school?
Yeah, teach at public school, and we call them state schools. And I also work part-time at a private English language school. I'm a teacher there, and I am a private tutor. I have private students, and when people find me, because I don't have an online school like you, or a little bit smaller online school, I didn't set up it. And when my former students whom I used to teach live in class, when they move to Moscow or to other cities, they find me and ask me to give them online classes.
Nice. Nice. Very good. Now, my school is not that big. Okay. When you say that, it's just, I told you, it's only me. So, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I even changed the name of that.
Yeah. Helga, can you ask your students, am I audible and understandable? Am I speaking too fast, or do they understand me?
No, they understand you. If they didn't understand, they would send me a message here. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I need to figure this out here, because problem with YouTube and this live here, one of them just said perfect. Josiane just said perfect. Yeah. Many people are gonna watch this video later because of the time. I told you that the best time is normally evening, right? But that would kill you there because it would be very late, right? Because of the time zone. But talking about YouTube here, we have this huge delay, so it's almost impossible to have a conversation with them real time. You know, I don't know how these guys do it. It's just crazy. You know, you ask a question and you get an answer like 5 minutes later. You know, and you even forgot what you asked. It's just like you're talking about something else. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know how these guys can keep up. That's why they invented what they have here on YouTube is super chat. So you pay to send a special message, and then that stands out. It's like a different color and all that, so you can slowly go back, you know, and read it. It's cool when you have a lot of people in the chat. That's nice, you know. And it can I don't know, $5, $1. I don't know. I think the minimum is $5. I don't know about that in my currency. But another question here: have you ever met any Brazilian there? Because we're pretty much everywhere.
Yes, I have one Brazilian in my city, and it's
oh my God!
Nice,
it's like we are like a disease. You're everywhere. You're plagued.
No. This young guy, he was studying marketing, and he joined an international sort of volunteer youth program. And there are students from all countries, and there was one Russian student, a girl from my hometown. That's where they met, and she is very active. She is in touch with youth authorities here in Obninsk, and she set up an international volunteering program for students and young people from different countries who would like to go to my hometown and work with state schools, with children, teaching them English and doing some other projects and organizing events.
That's what this guy is doing there?
He came to Obninsk like 3 years ago to volunteer in this program, and he stayed in my hometown for 1 academic year. And when Katya, her name is Katya, she offered me this opportunity to have a foreigner, a Brazilian guy, a nice Brazilian guy in my class, I decided that it will add to my students' motivation to communicate with a nice Brazilian guy in English in my classes. And we worked with him for 9 months.
Wow.
And then he married her.
Oh my God.
And now he lives here in Obninsk, and he works as a manager in Katya's father's company doing other projects.
My God, what?
Yeah.
A guy would leave Brazil and then there live in Russia. That's crazy. I don't know. Diego.
Yeah, and now
he speaks Russian now.
Yeah, he taught himself. When I asked Diego, let me help you, he said, I don't like to, maybe he, because of your grammar method in teaching English, he said, no, I don't like this classical method. I will study Russian through listening and responding with simple phrases, Nadia. But then I asked him, Diego, give me advice on which books on Russian language are best, worked for you best. And he gave me the titles of some Russian books. They are not grammar books. Well, some of them were grammar books, some of them were just textbooks. He usually also acted some textbooks and grammar books, but he taught himself. He taught himself. He works in a Russian company now, and he definitely speaks Russian. And the girls, you can imagine my young girls, my young students who were like 14, 15, 16, you can imagine how they reacted to a young, attractive Brazilian guy in class speaking English with them. That was a blast. I won. They went to English classes, they rushed to my English classes. Thanks to Diego.
So you used him.
He agreed. That was his purpose, to be used in classes in Obninsk. He signed
that's
contract. Yeah.
That's nice. I'm joking. It is interesting. So he learned by practicing. So he practiced Russian pretty much every day. So that's something important. If you want to learn any language, you need to practice that every day. And wow, he just got books and he started listening to some stuff, and then now he speaks Russian. And I believe Russian is a very difficult language.
Yeah, much more difficult than English, I should say, because in English and in the Brazilian,
you don't even use our like alphabet, right? The letters that we have, they're different.
It's not crazy. They are different, but it's not that difficult to learn the Russian alphabet, which is what is more difficult and much more difficult. The declensions and conjugations. You don't have in Portuguese, you don't have them in the English, and this is crazy. This is what drives foreigners crazy. Our declensions and conjugations.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah, I bet it drives you guys crazy. So let alone a foreigner. Right?
Yeah, some of younger kids.
Yeah, my God, it's just I can't imagine that. I would like to hear this guy, talking in Russian and all that.
He's very smart. He's very smart. He's
so,
very nice.
So you're saying, and that's for the guys out there, and maybe for the ladies too. Maybe, I don't know, but you're saying, oh, I've heard that Russian guys are kind of crazy. Is that true?
There are crazy people everywhere. Those people who did get a proper family education, they are definitely crazy. The question is, how many of them are there in our culture? There are definitely people who are not underprivileged, not educated so well, but
yeah, we have the wrong we have the wrong idea, let's say that, about Russians, because when you say like he's Russian, I imagine like two things: vodka, and I imagine this guy walking around completely drunk and doing something stupid. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's obviously that's not everybody, but it does happen there, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's what they show in American films. And
yes, that's how they depict you.
Typical stereotype about Russian drunkard, aggressive, speaking with the sentences with one or two words, with the gun, and who belongs to mafia and who is a total con. And his main idea in life is cheating everybody. Yeah, that's how they are portrayed in all American films. But let's compare let's compare British football fans and Russian football fans. British football fans are worse, much worse, much more aggressive.
I agree. They're totally insane. Well, I have seen a lot of articles and videos showing British youngsters, and they are kind of crazy too.
You know,
Worse
Helder,
than
speaking,
Russians.
answering to what, your question about a stereotype about Russian people, it was and men, it was completely smashed during the Winter Olympiad in Sochi. There were tons of foreigners who flew to Sochi to watch the Olympic Games, and they were amazed and just simply taken aback by Russian hospitality, open-heartedness, and welcoming everybody, helping people with the money. There were stories on the internet. I saw them on the internet because I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV. I saw these stories produced by foreign companies about their fans who lost their passports, money, found themselves in the middle of nowhere on the way to one city. They were confused about some Russian cities, and instead of going to one city to see some match or competition, they went to a different, and Russian people hosted them.
Wow.
Gave them shelter, gave them food, gave them money, and sent them direct to the city they were going to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Lots of the stories of this kind on the internet.
Yeah, so nice. So nice. Well, I'm pretty much like you. I have a TV, but I don't watch it. You don't have it because you know. But I'm gonna ask you about a TV later. But out of curiosity here, just for me to know, although I'm a married man, and some guys who are watching here, I believe all of the guys who are watching here, Bruno just joined here, are married too. But Brazilian guy going to, let's say, in Russia, speaking English, is an automatic success with the women? Is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Oh my God. You hear that?
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why? Because salsa, bachata are really fashionable here. We have lots of dancing clubs where young girls study how to dance salsa, bachata, and you were born with dancing salsa, bachata, and
Really?
kizomba and kizomba.
Zumba?
Kizomba.
Yeah.
Kizomba.
I don't know what
It's
that is. And we don't
Yeah,
dance. We don't dance salsa here. I mean, some people do, but that's not our typical dance, you know. But then I would be pretty much screwed because I can't dance. So yeah, so that would be a problem.
But you,
Forget about it.
in your culture, you're full of energy. You're full of
Oh, yes.
you live in a hot country, and
Yes.
you're more flexible. You move very fast. You're like young tigers and panthers and all that stuff. Very nice to watch your graceful movements. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but yeah, some people certainly are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not everybody, but some who are sporty, who exercise, who go to the gym, so who are born very flexible and all
Oh
that
no,
stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Wow, really nice. And
Yeah,
what?
Latin American culture is dances are sort of hugely popular here, and there are some people from Latin America, from Brazil, definitely from Cuba, from Colombia, who are coaches, dancing coaches here in Moscow in dancing clubs.
So that
And they have their own dancing schools.
so that's how they're calling themselves now, dance coaches.
That's actually I invented this.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know, that's a very common word now. But let me ask you that there. Why you don't watch TV? Why you don't have a TV there?
Because of the censorship. I don't want to censorship the programs I'm interested in, and the way the news and the programs are presented are not that exciting for me. Let's talk about news programs or the programs which make me crazy, talk shows, chat shows, all that stuff, talent shows. You can see only talent shows, chat shows, talk shows on the TV. I'm not interested in listening to these herds of people. Not of that kind of people. I want to choose my own information, which is interesting for me. I don't want to give me what I don't want to listen to or watch.
Yeah, Perfect, perfect. I totally agree there. That has changed a lot. People now, they want, like, pretty much like you, they want to choose what they want to watch, right? And let's say the normal TV, let's say that the old TV, it's pretty much like that you have to watch what they tell you to watch, right? You don't have a choice, even if it is cable. You know, it's a fake idea of choice. But yeah, even though Netflix, you know, because of the catalog's kind of limited, although they have a lot of titles there. But that's why I prefer the internet. You know, I prefer the internet. I just go there, watch whatever I want to watch. YouTube is just perfect because you have pretty much like everything there. You know, and whenever I want to watch something, I use YouTube. It's and sometimes Netflix, but I almost never watch TV here. I don't even know why I have one. It's just because I bought it a long time ago. Sometimes I like to sit there and watch some stuff, but I just watch it here on my computer. I think it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Hey, Yoni, we have Yoni here too. Let me ask you another question here, Nadia. You as a teacher, if you could give, say, the people who are here and the people who are going to watch us later, if you could give them some advice on how to learn English, what would it be? What could you tell them?
You have to fall in love with it.
Oh, that's good. you need to fall in love with English. So if you don't like it, you're not going to learn it.
And and I will give you an example. One of my fellow teachers, who is also a teacher of English, that's how she learned Spanish, because she saw a Spanish singer on Eurovision competition. I don't remember. He was Spanish. He was a young guy. He didn't. He didn't get the prize. He was just an ordinary competitor, and she liked the song. She liked the melody. She liked the way the song was presented, and she was sort of enchanted by this music, the song, and the language. And she started to learn the language by herself. It was summer, luckily, and she started to spend like 10 hours a day learning Spanish in summer. And now she can read and she speaks. So first
10 hours a day.
10 hours a day. And she didn't notice how fast the time flew.
Wow.
That's it. She fell in love with the language, with the culture.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with you there, but I don't think that people now, if you're a teenager now, that maybe you have like 10 hours there to spare. But normally people don't have, like 10 hours just to study English or any other language, because people have busy lives now. But the more they do it, the better.
Yeah, you know what really means the system. You have to establish the habit, and it doesn't matter how much time you devote to your habit. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 15 minutes, half an hour, the more the better. But anyway, you have to establish the habit. And the second thing which will definitely help us to learn a foreign language is the necessity. I always keep saying, learning foreign languages is the mother of necessity. The mother of necessity is at the bottom of it. If you need it for your job interview, if you need it for promotion, you will do it. You have to have a meaningful reason for it. That's the best motivation. Love on the one hand, and the meaningful reason. And the habit. Only with the help of the habit, you will move further.
Perfect. Very well put. I like that. Yeah, necessity. So you need to find some like, what do you need English for, right? So if you don't have that necessity, I say that you should create one, because English is such a really useful language. So certainly there are some things there that English can help you. maybe get a better job. Maybe you already have a job, but maybe you can get a better job, or maybe you can get a promotion, or maybe you can that can help you when you travel abroad, right? Or that can help you like when you are studying for your master's or your PhD or whatever, you know, your doctorate. So certainly English will help you. Yeah, I learned it because I love it, and because I like talking to people in English. And you see, now I'm talking to you in Russia, right? You're there in Russia, and in English. I'm sure you would never, I'm always saying this to my students, I'm sure you would never learn Portuguese to talk to me, and I would never learn Russian just to talk to you, you know, because very different languages. But then with English, we find here a common ground, and then now we can communicate, right? So
Yeah.
that's that's the beauty in this language.
Because thanks to your ability to speak English, and thanks to my ability to communicate with you in English, I managed to find a role model. It's you. In terms of your beautiful accent, you are a role model for me, Helder. I
Oh, thank you.
admire your love for the English language, your hard work, and all the efforts you put into building yourself when you were teaching yourself.
Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah, perfect English, and I adore this ability to do hard work. Yeah, you are a role model for me, and I'm happy I met you on the internet, and I'm able to communicate with you.
No, I'm glad, and I'm very happy to be able to make friends like you. I have several other friends too, and like I said, that's why I like English. Well, one of the reasons, but you know, to communicate with people, get more information, because I love, you know, knowledge. I love that. Sorry. And I can learn more about your culture, about your country. And speaking about your country, what's the weather like there? Because I've seen it's pretty cold.
It's pretty cold. There was about half of the meter or the meter snow 3 days ago in the streets, but now everything is melting.
And it's a mess when it melts too, right? When the snow melts. Because I have talked to some Americans, and we just see we just imagine this, you know, snow. It's like, oh, that's beautiful. And now that we see people making these snow angels and snowman and all that, but it is a mess when it snows a lot, and also when it melts, right?
Yeah, it's very unpleasant. You know, when we buy expensive leather long shoes, they die very fast when we stroll on this mess, which is wet, old snow. It ruins our shoes very fast.
Yeah, and but that's like the normal weather there. It's like normally cold, or it's just like.
No, it used to be really cold when I was a schoolgirl, like 25, 28, or 30 minus below zero. But now it's
Wow,
not.
and that's Celsius, right? Because you
Yeah,
use
it's
Celsius too.
Celsius. But now it's not that cold. It's pretty. It's much warmer. These winters are much warmer.
Like what? What do you mean by warmer? It's like what? 10?
Yeah, it's a
Minus 10?
Yeah, minus 10, minus 5, minus 5, minus 10 Celsius. Because when I said to my British friend that it's 5 below zero, he said, "Oh, it's so cold. 5 below zero. It's so cold." I said, "No, it's warm."
It's not warm at all. Like 13 is warm, you know? Like that that's when we have 13 here, we wear coats and all that. And you have like 5 below zero, and you're seeing that's warm. My God, I can't even imagine that. I think that's colder than my refrigerator. I don't know. That's insane. I'm asking that because, for example, here in my city, Rio, it's pretty much like always hot. You know, sometimes we have some cold days, and yeah, you know, here and there, but it's always hot and raining. You know, like it is now, but it's pretty much hot, and it's like 45, 45, yeah. But the feel like, but it feels like, let's say that they call it the feel like, it's like 50 in some places. It's like that place in the Middle East, like Qatar. Qatar is pretty hot too. All right.
And the problem is that it's humid. If it is not humid, it will be much easier to bear with it. But it's humid, which makes it more difficult to bear with it, right?
It's dry sometimes, you know, but yeah, but it is I think, honestly, I don't pay attention to that. I think it is humid. Only when it is cold that's dry, right? I guess. I don't know. They can help me there with this. But I just don't care about that. It's just too hot. You know, and I have here in my office, I have an air conditioner on and a fan on. And sometimes, despite all that, I sweat. But I understand that it's because, you know, it's extremely hot, but not today. Today's fine. It's extremely hot, and I have all these you know, monitors, you know, this equipment here, and you know, they make my environment here hotter, I would say, right? Bruno was saying here, English really opens doors for communication. Yes, I've tried to people from many different countries. You mean you talk to people from different countries? Speaking about people from different countries, have you ever been outside Russia?
Yeah, I was lucky. I've been to America like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
And I've been to Great Britain 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Nice. But
Yeah,
you
very
just
nice.
like on vacation, or you went there to study English?
I didn't have enough money to go abroad to study English. Frankly speaking, you know what our wages and salaries are for teachers everywhere in all countries. We are
Okay.
underpaid everywhere.
No, you don't
I
say.
was lucky. I was lucky because when I first came to the USA, I won in all Russia contest for English teachers.
Wow.
Yeah, I was chosen, and the 30 teachers from all over Russia were chosen as winners, and we were sent. The American government paid money for the contestants, and we were sent to the USA to study for 6 weeks in Delaware University. And
Wow.
before this, we spent 1 week in Washington, D.C., so I was very lucky. I spent almost 2 months in America on the professional development seminar.
Wow. But you're saying you were lucky, but it was like a drawing? They just picked names out of a hat, or
No,
it was a kind of reward?
Yeah, no, it was a competition. There were 3 rounds. We had to one.
So you were
in
not
each
lucky.
round.
You were just competent.
Yeah, sort of.
No, not sort of. You did a good job. That's why you were selected.
Yeah.
When you say lucky, I think it undermines all your effort and all that. So it was not lucky. It was you deserved it. You got it.
I was given a chance and I used
Okay,
it.
but that, yeah, okay, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you believe that or not, but that's what I'm saying. That's based on what you just said. That's what it sounds like. But you did a good job there, and then you got a reward, you got a prize, and that was very nice, very nice. I believe that was a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. It made my teaching easier, much easier, because I knew exactly what I was speaking about to my students. I felt it with my own hands. It was first-hand experience living in an English-speaking country.
Nice. And did you have problems with English there? No, you communicated well, didn't have any like misunderstanding?
No, not
Nothing
much.
funny?
Funny, yeah. I remember that sometimes we met some people who worked on the campus, and they were speaking using slang, youth slang on some other slang, and of course I was not able to understand every word, and that made me feel upset.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning, Adriana. Adriana Moraes. I think I know you. I don't know. And then when you came back to the United States, that was like you paid, right?
No, I was
My
given
God, you got it again?
Yeah, no,
My
I was
God.
given a chance to take part in another competition for former participants of those programs. We had to apply to be facilitators in the Open World program, and the Open World program was also held by one of the American senators for so-called young leaders. And those leaders were given an opportunity to apply to be taken on the program, and they definitely needed facilitators and interpreters, and that's how they invited former participants of former programs to be facilitators and interpreters. And I went to the USA as a facilitator with a young leaders group twice or three times maybe, and I was
So you
paid
were like
for this.
oh my God. So,
Yeah,
so you were paid. That's nice. And you were like an interpreter?
yeah.
Wow. And the third time?
Yeah.
And the third time you went there?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
the third time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the UK?
In the UK,
Don't
we
tell me you
can
got
go.
that again, okay?
It was similar.
Oh my
But
God.
actually, for the first time, we have to. I know that if in Brazil you recruit like 10 or 15 students, you can accompany them as a group leader and go with them to the UK free of charge, because the company, the tourist agency, give you the commission. They pay for you, and you accompany the group. You are in charge of the group. You are not paid for this job, but you don't pay for the plane tickets, for the accommodation, and you have to pay only for food. And you can go to the UK with this group of students whom you managed to recruit. That's how I went to the UK for the first time. I found enough students. I had been trying to recruit this group of students for many, many years, and it was only once when I managed to recruit enough to go to the UK with them. That was my first time when I came to the UK. And the second time, I took part in the competition for the English teachers, and I won.
My God.
And I spent wonderful, fantastic, absolutely fantastic 5 days in a little town of Holt at the seaside in 2 hours drive from London. I spent 5 days absolutely. And a British teacher who I met on the internet on WizIQ.
Wow.
Yes. He set up that competition because he writes course books, and he set up the competition for the English teachers who use his course books. And he asked us, the participants, to devise a lesson plan based on his course books. And he and the jury, the members of the jury, selected the best lesson plans, and we had to do some written work. We had an interview, and they selected 4 teachers. Two teachers from Russia, and 2 teachers, and one teacher, young teacher, was from Hungary, and the 4th teacher was from Serbia, and they hosted 4 teachers, and we spent absolutely fantastic 5 days with Matt, and he also uses his own method. You also use a lot of things which you invented in your classes. And he put all his methods and ways into one box and he categorized them, and he's very smart, and he uses his method as a system, and he taught us how to use his system 5 days free of charge. We
Wow.
lived in British families who agreed to host us, and then I spent fantastic 5 days in London on my own, absolutely no students. And I was so lucky because my dream came true. I was able to find the spare ticket to the Globe Theatre, and I saw the performance in the Globe Theatre,
Wow.
in Magic Globe Theatre.
Wow. Wow. That's the Broadway of the UK.
Yeah.
So nice. A student here is asking if you know anything about a company in Russia. Let me see here. This company is increasing a lot. Its operation. Oh, Rosneft. Have you ever heard of this company, Rosneft?
Rosneft is translated like Russian oil. Who
Yes.
doesn't know this company? Everybody knows.
I don't. Never
I
heard
mean,
of
in
that
Russia,
before. Oh,
everybody
okay.
in Russia knows. Russian oil.
Oh,
Everybody knows
because
Russian
he's saying
oil.
that these companies, because he works in this area, oil and gas, and he's saying that these companies are increasing a lot here in Brazil, the operations in Brazil. Yeah, maybe because of this agreement that we have with Russia, you know, the BRICS. Maybe. I don't know.
This company built schools, public schools, like you say. We call them state schools, you call them public schools. This company has the most modern, the most fantastic public schools here. They built this school for their workers' children. And I know one school in Moscow. I was inside that school, which this company built. It's the 22nd century school. Fantastic.
Wow. See that? Crazy. Hi, Rodrigo. How are you? I have some people here now. We have more people joining now, but we are about to leave. We have to go. Do you guys have any other question for Nadia? And then you can wait like 5 minutes for them to answer this question now, because it's because of the delay. But we are about to finish this here. And I'd like to thank you, Nadia, for accepting the invitation. And also congratulate you on all these things that you have accomplished. That's so nice. I didn't know. That's really good. Really good. And you should be, feel proud and never just say that I was lucky and all that. I don't like that. Luck does not exist. Okay. Well, okay. For this, in this case,
the road to perfection never ends.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah, and again, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank everybody here for participating. We had a lot of people here watching. Angela just said congratulations on the live. Today you made me feel like a world citizen. You see that? That's nice. That's kind of my translation here. It is so nice. I like I said, I like to have this kind of conversation with people like with you, for example, who has you have a totally different culture from, well, maybe it's not so different, but the language is very different. But maybe the culture, like when you talked about the food, I saw that it is not so different. And also to let us know here a little bit more about your country, and definitely kill this crazy stereotype that people have on Russians, right? Because I've met, now actually I only know you from Russia, only you. I had a friend from Ukraine, but I don't know if it is the same. It used to be the same in the past, right? The Soviet Union, but it's not the same, right? You guys are different. Oh, it's similar. It's similar, right?
It's pretty similar, absolutely.
Even the language is the same, right?
Yeah, language is different, like
Different.
Portuguese and Spanish, like Portuguese.
Oh,
and
okay.
Spanish.
So
Yeah,
they are similar, They're
Yeah,
not the
similar.
same.
Yeah,
Oh,
we used to be the same, pretty same. But people used to say that the Ukrainian people are even warmer and more hospitable than Russian people, even more generous, something like that. Because they live in a hot country, their soil is full of these necessary chemicals authentically, and they have lots of fruit gardens, vegetable gardens.
nice.
They have everything in store near their houses. They're very hardworking, sort of, and they're very hospitable and all that stuff, which is pretty similar to Russian people.
Nice, nice. And it's a beautiful country too. I remember back in the day she showed me some pictures, and I was like, wow, you know, because again, the things that we get from these places are not so good usually. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we get something, because normally we get nothing from, about Ukraine or maybe about Russia, but very, very, I don't know. I don't watch TV, but I don't think we show anything here. Only when we had the World Cup. Yeah, when we had the World Cup there, I'm sure we learned a lot more about Russians. I saw that your subway there. My God, there is a station there, and it's so beautiful. It's like a palace.
Yeah, that's what people say. They like.
That's
they
what
are like.
people say.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't agree? So that's what
I
people say.
agree, I agree. Yeah, that's what people. I agree. It's
Oh,
absolutely fantastic. I can compare with Washington D.C. subway, with New York subway, with London subway. They didn't put that much, so much artwork into building their subway stations because they are more practically oriented. But
yeah,
it was pieces of art
yeah.
here.
You said it. You said it. It's totally like it's an amazing work of art. Yeah. When I saw the pictures, they were wow. My God, I could live here. You know, I could live in this place. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. Again, thanks a lot, Nadia. I hope we can do this again in the future. And thank you guys again. Let me see if there is a. You see, nobody answered. Yeah. Uh, Nadia, have a nice day there. What time is it there now?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Okay, have a nice afternoon there. And thanks again, and I'll see you around.
See you around. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
My pleasure, Helder.
Thank you.
My
Bye-bye,
pleasure.
guys. See ya.
Bye bye.